I am happy to introduce the new generation of our electric clamps today. We start here with the smart version. I'm going to start with mechanics. That's always very interesting also for our customers. So we have an aluminum housing here at the top, which is sealed. This aluminum housing is interchangeable one-to-one with our pneumatic units or with our other electric clamping units. Inside we have our tested toggle mechanism driven by a trapezoidal thread spindle that is connected to a servo motor, so it is powered. This servo motor allows us here with this smart solution, so with the intelligent version, the possibility to make several settings. We can set the opening angle, we can set the speed, we can adjust the power, and we also have a sheet thickness detection here. As you can already see, in this version, we only have one cable, which we think is a big advantage because many customers always say, okay, we obviously don't just need to consider the cost of the electric clamp itself, but also the cost of the accessories, that is the electrical components attached to it, like the cables. Here we now basically have one cable for 3 signals. So here we have the load voltage, the bus signal, which conveys the information to the motor, and we have the control voltage again. This motor naturally works with bus signals. We ultimately need these bus signals to use all this information. Now, we had the problem that many customers naturally work with different systems in their plants, such as Profinet or Ethernet, and that's why we thought about developing a box that is capable of converting the appropriate signal. So now there comes either a Profinet signal or an Ethernet signal from the SPS. It doesn't matter. This box converts the signal and sends the information to the motor with the correct signal. The entire product is controlled or adjusted via the completely normal SPS and a corresponding web visualization. This web visualization works with increments, so in the end you can specify the increments you want to have with this solution and can thus set the corresponding sheet thicknesses you want to clamp or the forces you want to achieve. A quick detail, at this point here, a light ring is actually provided. It is now glowing green in this case. Green means everything is fine, you don't need to do anything, the units are running, and red in this case indicates, oh, wait a moment, something's not right. I might have used a sheet that doesn't have the required thickness and something needs to be done about it. These signals are naturally sent to the SPS, processed accordingly, and can be read there. Here we have a solution where I would like to start directly with the mechanics. The mechanics are interchangeable one-to-one with our pneumatic units and also with our classic electrical clamps. The whole thing is also driven by a trapezoidal thread spindle in the normal clamping technique. So in the clamps there is a tested toggle mechanism which is driven by this spindle. Here we work with digital signals and a brush motor, which is a DC motor. The big advantage here is, of course, the cost. We don't have all these settings here, but we offer the customer the opportunity to reproduce the normal clamping process in the end. So opening, closing with a clamp, or extending and retracting with a pin-pulling cylinder. In our classic version, a corresponding control cabinet module was always required for this signal processing, which is inserted into the control cabinet and ultimately passes the signals onto the motor. We don't need that here now. In the past months, we developed a circuit board together with our subsidiary Nickel that already brings all the technology directly with the circuit board on the motor with the clamp. Here we only need the clamp and the associated cables. The associated cables are the power supply, so the electricity, and then we have one more for in and out, so for input and output, wired with a normal field bus module. To ultimately get feedback on the signals, it's also commonly provided to every customer. One advantage is a power strip, a box that allows us to have only one long cable with 24 volts, which is led to this box. You can then power up to 8 clamps from this box. You can actually provide a box on your gripper and then use smaller, shorter cables to directly supply the clamps.